So y'all, let me tell y'all, this just happened. Diddy just settled with Cassie. Clearly it took 24 hours for that motherfucker to goddamn bitch all the way up. He settled with Cassie. It says for an undisclosed amount. But as I said, go check out that first video I dropped. In the article, again, with the same New York Times, right? In that article, it said his team, his lawyers said Cassie had been coming to him for 6 months prior to this lawsuit, asking about the 30 million. Wanting, well, inquiring, want 30 million, telling him she want 30 million. And so I guess those 6 months he been blowing her ass off and gearing up, preparing for this shit. Right? So the question goes to it reads like, if the play, I'm gonna tell you, for me is for me, right? Again, these are my thoughts and opinions, commentary. So with that being said, as I proceed on, my thing is this: the play reads like this. The play reads, she been sweating him 6 months about this 30 million. He caught, and she told, and then also in the article it stated that she told him she was gonna tell everything, disclose everything in a book, right? This woman been sweating you for 6 months, Diddy, about this money. So it feels like there was a little call her bluff type shit coming on. Like, he didn't take her seriously, right? Like, he didn't take her seriously. He wasn't gonna take her seriously, and was like, she ain't gonna do it. And again, these are allegedly, in my opinions. I don't doubt in the 6 months she was going back and forth with him on this shit. I can imagine this Diddy. He probably was throwing all type of threats at that hoe or whatever. Like, again, this is allegedly. But you can't deny the Brad was 24 hours and he settled. Again, if she's been coming to you for 6 months prior to filing this lawsuit, why you ain't just give her the 30 million then? Instead of even taking the chance, instead of playing around with her, instead of playing cat and mouse with her, before I even take this bitch for light, I'll go and get her money. Like, why? Why did it take for the lawsuit to drop, hit the public, for you to settle this woman undisclosed? Like, first of all, that's bullshit. We don't need to know the amount. We don't fucking need to know the amount. The fact that she sweated you for 6 months for 30 million and you then settled with her for an undisclosed amount, Diddy, that speaks for itself. Either it was for the 30 million, or when the minute she filed that lawsuit, that price went up from 30 million to another number. But best believe that number did not come down. She ain't selling for some shit under 30. She ain't do that. Mm-mm. If she been sweating you for 6 months for 13 million, my nigga, when he settled, that direct deposit was 30 million plus. I believe that. But again, it just all reads, huh, you want 30 million for me. And it just reads like it reads like she was sweating him. He was blowing her off. He wasn't taking her serious. And he called her bluff. And when she actually did this, it made him look at her. It literally snapped him back to attention, and he listened. And he was like, what? Man, this. And from that point on, he gathered his. I feel like he was already here. All right, let's get that straight. I feel like he was already here when he gave those other artists the artists from back in the early 2000s. Let's say the artists from early 2000s to mid 2000s, probably further back. Let's go into the 90s type of shit. Artists that he know whose music ain't really popping, ain't hit, ain't selling, ain't streaming, ain't nothing. He gave these motherfuckers the rights to their music catalog. he gave them their music catalog back, right? So they got the rights to their shit back. Even though them hoes ain't selling, ain't hitting on nothing. They ain't give a fuck. You can get your music catalog, your entire catalog, you can get that whole back. I just need you to do one thing. In the process of you getting it back, you gotta sign this NDA. This NDA is for the fact that, hey, you can't speak about nothing dealing with me, period. You can't, anybody ask you anything, if they ask you about your time back in woo woo woo, you no comment. Anything with his name in it, anything dealing with Bad Boy, they can't speak on it. So yes, and that was what, a couple of months ago when this happened, and everyone was like, "Oh, did it get back? Did it get everybody back? They validate their music catalog?" And baby, this is Diddy. The only reason he gave that shit back because it was something that he did not mind losing. Right? He was something that had if it had any value, it was probably more sentimental, but because the music catalog wasn't making no money. Ain't nobody streaming them songs. Ain't nobody looking. Ain't nobody checking for that music. You feel me? But if you were an artist and you done put in all this, you know what I'm saying? Back in that time in that era, you that's to for them to want that music catalog. I imagine for a music artist, that's some emotional shit. You feel me? Like, cause you remembering the emotion, the heart and soul you put into your shit, the feeling that you put into your music, how you wanted it to make people feel and all that shit. So, whereas monetary value might have not been there, sentiment value, it was priceless. So hell yeah. Bitch, I want my music catalog because that's like a record of my time with Bad Boy. That's like a record of my time in the spotlight, you know? And then me having my own catalog, guess what? I have the freedom to revamp my catalog however I see fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, my shit might not be making no streams and might not be worth nothing monetary now, but guess what? I might be able to put together me a team, or if I don't have the funds for a team, I may be able to get in there and find stuff, chop it up and find something to do with it that will bring me some money off of it. But the fact that I got my own music, my music catalog back, that's a start, right? But I still say that was the ulterior motive. I feel like he knew what was coming. He knew what was happening. His team and his lawyers, good fucking lawyers, had him get ahead of that shit by giving everybody that music catalog back, right? Had him get they music catalog back along with signing that NDA and a couple $100. Basically, he's because the way I look at it, it just came out like a real junkie move to me. Like the fuck, and then I feel like everybody, because when it was swarming around the internet, it did everybody who drew suspicion from it was like, damn, he gave motherfuckers they music catalog back. Like what? Fuck out of here. That's why he did that shit. Because I feel like, and again, these are all my opinions. This is all my opinion. This is allegedly, in my opinions, commentary. Period. So when it's all said and done, I feel like he did that because for some of those artists, I'm not gonna say all of them. You gotta throw in a nice blend in there to make it look legit. I feel like for some of those artists, they actually saw some shit. They actually saw some shit. Hey, maybe all of them. But the ones in particular who jumped up on it and signed that NDA and got their music catalog, I'm talking about the energy is just, man, them motherfuckers saw some shit. You feel me? They was around some shit. They saw some shit that could potentially end badly for Mr. Combs if it was to be revealed, especially in a setting like this lawsuit, which he knew was coming because 6 months prior to the filing, she had already been sweating him about that 30 million. So in her sweating him, it was said in the article. Go check out that first video if you haven't seen it. It was already said in the article that she'd been coming to him for 6 months with wanting 30 million, or she was gonna do a book and expose him. She was gonna sue him, or she was gonna do a book and expose his ass. So guess what? Yeah, I feel like he plotted and he strategically plotted for this. He did. And it just so happened his legal team talked him in the right direction and was like, nah, cause yeah, you do got the money power to take this to court and to go to trial. You can do that to her easy. You can. That's if you want to. But look at what you're doing in the process. In the process, just the sheer fact that she filed it, it's already damaging. And I feel like he probably went. I feel like he saw it coming. He probably just didn't know the exact date of when it was coming. But then I like to think when you're Diddy, you know, he probably got a wind of it. And in the process of him getting wind of it, it was already like right when he got wind of the shit, it dropped like a few hours later. Or it dropped like within the next 30 minutes. And he was like, damn, she really did this shit. Man, call my lawyers. When his lawyers probably called him and was like, you ready to proceed? Yeah, let's proceed with it. Like he probably already had the money separated, sorted, waiting on the side for her. Like he probably, I feel like he knew this shit was coming, and he wanted to call her bluff. In a way, I would go for us to say he probably strategically and sickly got off on this. Like Cassie, she wouldn't. Man, she wouldn't. And then she did and was like, you know what? The fact that she already hinted as much and said as much, I was prepared for it. And I really didn't think you was going to do it. But the fact that you did, okay, you proved your point. Here you go. And gave her her money. Wow. But it's still going to be a lot of questions asked after this because the fact that she even went through the effort of doing this for 6 months and she had to take it this far to get your attention. Hey, oh, you think I'm playing? Okay. Okay. And then it's happened. I feel like it, and then in the mere hours of backlash and shit hitting the airwaves about this, he knew then this woman was not fucking playing. But y'all let me know what y'all think below.